Tonight, the Forest Hills School District is holding a meeting after two Turpin High School students committed suicide within a week of each other. 9 on your sides, Kristen Swilley is live at Nagel Middle School with more on this story. Kristen.
Yeah, good evening, Kristen. This meeting started just moments ago, and in a few minutes we'll have a better idea of just how the Forest Hills School District plans to address this issue. Of course, this community reeling after losing two students so close together. So the big question is now, how is this district going to move forward? How can they prevent this from happening in the future? And of course, these deaths took a lot of people by surprise. So a few hours ago, we spoke with an assistant professor at UC Health to learn more about how best to approach people with depression, anxiety, and other mental health issues that sometimes end in suicide.
People who are suicidal are not going to become more suicidal because someone asks. In fact, they're going to be quite relieved that their deadly secret, they don't have to keep it anymore. That someone has given them permission to talk about it out loud.
Now tonight on 9 on your side at 11, you'll hear from the parents of Benjamin Kimball. That's one of the students that took his own life last week, and they will share the message they want to share with students and with other parents. Reporting live, Kristen Swilley, 9 on your side.
Kristen, thank you. And we want to broaden this conversation. Joining me now is Kristen Arand, a social worker with Mental Health of America. I want to thank you for being here.
Thank you.
We've been having this discussion over the course of about a week again. And so I think it might be helpful to know, does somebody who is considering suicide exhibit signs that you should be looking for?
Yes, ma'am. So the first thing, that we want to do is we want to watch for when things just don't seem right. So our attitude is changing. The way that we're speaking to people is different, maybe a little more negative or a little more angry. We want to watch for difficulties at home or at school or with our friends. The most important thing, though, is to watch for sadness. Feelings when they're expressed of hopelessness or worthlessness.
Will it be an extraordinary sadness, different from any other kind of sadness?
To be honest with you, it doesn't really have to be an exhibitable sadness to exist. A lot of people experience a silent sadness that's covered by a smile. So regardless of whether we're talking about, the quarterback of the football team or that little quiet girl in the back of the classroom, unfortunately, we're going to continue to lose people to suicide regardless. So I feel the most important thing we can do is change our verbiage around the issue. So rather than committing suicide, we complete suicide or we die by suicide, but we have to take that criminalistic attitude, that vilification of the act away to take off a piece of the stigma. Another really important thing is when we're entering into these conversations with our teens, there's never a right or a wrong time to have that conversation.
How do you start that conversation? We have about 40 seconds left.
Right.
I think that's really important. How do you start it?
Absolutely. So starting that conversation, I noticed, or I've seen, or you just don't seem yourself lately, and creating a safe and healthy atmosphere in which to engage in that conversation is crucial. And then asking probing questions of your teen that don't have a yes or no answer, because when you're engaging in yes and no, that closes down the question. But when we're asking open-ended questions, we tend to get further on the path rather than just stopping at that yes or no.
So simple, but it can make such a big difference.
Yes, ma'am.
Kristen, thank you for being here and sharing that knowledge. We really need to hear it.
Yes, ma'am.
If you or somebody you know might be suicidal, make sure to call the National Suicide Hotline. We want to pass that number along as well. It is 1-800-273-8255.